All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Danny. We are Team 696. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me. We're doing this on Saturday night. It's pretty late. It's almost Sunday morning. I got held up again this weekend with some things. So Diddy just got denied bail again. And I heard that he's going to go back to the Second Circuit Court for an appeal. We'll see what happens there. I don't think any judge in his right mind would give Diddy bail at this point. It's just a personal opinion, but I just don't. I think the risk is too great. He's been shown that he's a violent guy. He's not afraid of tampering with witnesses. He's not afraid of, trying to make street thug moves, even in a situation where it's a legal case and you just can't do those type of things. So he has shown that he doesn't care. He still thinks he's above the law, even though he's been sitting in a box for a little while, if he has. And some people even doubt that. But assuming he's there and everything that we've been told is true, which I hate to do, a judge would have to be absolutely insane to let him out at this point. Enough about Diddy. We're not talking about Diddy this week. This week we're going to talk about a guy, a young man. I might refer to him throughout this video as a kid. I'm almost double his age, which is really scary. But I also remember being his age and having, maybe not to his level, certainly, but having a lot of money at my disposal, a lot of personal, a lot of possessions, a lot of personal wealth, and multiple homes. He's got it all in the world of worldly possessions. We're talking about Jack Doherty. Okay, if you don't know who he is, you're not missing a lot. He's a kid that came up on YouTube. I think he's 22 years old now. He started his YouTube channel back in 2016, which would mean he was, 13, 14, I think, when he started it, which makes sense. I think that's about the right time frame. So I don't know a lot about this guy. I've only seen him. I've seen his videos pop up a few times. He's very popular. I think he's got like something around 12 million subscribers on YouTube. He's on Instagram. He's on other platforms as well. First time I ever saw him, he was on the Impulsive podcast with Logan Paul, and if you don't care about Jack Doherty, you're in my camp. I don't care about him either. But we're going to learn some things tonight, hopefully. I hope we're going to learn some stuff. And just some things I want to point out about what this guy's doing, what he's been doing, what he's done before, and how you can be given everything in this world and it looks like you have everything that anyone would dream of or desire, and you're still living a very empty, hollow life. We've seen it so many times in celebrity, whether it's an online celebrity, whether it's a mainstream celebrity, an A-list, a D-list, it doesn't matter. They all seem to have this life full of worldly possessions and an enviable situation to a lot of us, when in reality their situation is no better than ours, and honestly it's probably a lot worse. So let's get into it. I first saw him on the Impulsive podcast with Logan Paul. Again, I'm not a fan of the Impulsive podcast, but I happened to see it one day. He was on there. At the time, he was 15 years old. He was just a young kid. They were kind of goofing around, asking him questions, and it came out that he had made almost $1 million from YouTube so far. Apparently just YouTube at that point. If you can believe anything this kid says. And I guess he had just bought his first house at that point. People say he has quite a bit of real estate investment properties, quite a few of them. I don't know how true that is. Anyway, so he was on the podcast. They made a big deal. He'd made almost $1 million from YouTube. The fact that he had just bought a house, he was 15. He had to obviously have help to do it. I think his dad was on the papers, and he paid for the house. So kind of interesting. I saw him there. Didn't really keep up with anything he did. In retrospect, looking back, I watched a few things on him today. So first of all, it's been presented as this kid is some kind of a prodigy, and he even presents it like this too. Like he'll post things saying that, you know, how much smarter he is than any of the people that watch him, and he's just he's got it all figured out. He's just this super intelligent anomaly of a human being that has somehow figured it out much better than anyone else in the world, and very cocky. And this is part of the reason I don't mind seeing him. It doesn't bother me seeing him kind of get a taste of reality a little bit here as time goes on. So his first videos on YouTube, when he first started in 2016, his first video ever was he was sitting at a table and he flipped the marker and it stood up on end. And then he grabbed the marker again, he flipped it again, and it stood up on end again. He did this whole, crazy, wow, whatever. And that video got crazy amounts of views. I think it was his second video. If it wasn't his second, it was one or two or a few after that. Was another one, I believe it was flipping markers again or something, and he got millions of views on that video, and very, very short a time, I think amount of time, within 5 months, he was up over 100,000 subscribers after joining YouTube. And of course, it's been sold as that he's just so super smart, and anybody can do it. You just have to, if you work hard enough, put your mind to it, try, come up with good ideas. There's some luck, but also, anybody can do it. The first thing I want to poke a hole in that part of it is he comes from a very wealthy background, or at least it looks so on the surface. He has always been in very nice homes from the first video that he ever put out. I would say every home that I've ever seen him in with his parents has been well over $1 million, and that's just based on the house itself. You add location to that, it could be a 7-8 figure home. So he's always been around a lot of money. People have even referred back to the fact that in 2016, 2017, he was already filming in 1080p, which we can all do now with our cell phones. But back then, you needed about a $1,200 to $1,500 camera to film in that good a quality for a young kid that was only, in his early teens, couldn't even drive yet. He obviously had people putting money into his. Plus, the other thing is too, the signs are there. His dad definitely, I would assume it's his dad more than his mom. His mom doesn't really speak English that well, or at least that's how it's framed online. His dad seems a little bit more in tune with what's going on, and his dad obviously had connections. Okay, Jack didn't start all this on his own. His dad, his parents, both of his parents have driven him to a lot of the locations where he used to film, things like that. So from a very young age, they've been involved the whole time in all of this coming to fruition. And I would argue that very early on, he had a team behind him. In fact, when he was on the Impulsive podcast, when he was only 15 years old, this was 2 years roughly after starting YouTube, he obviously had a full social media team. Logan Paul even makes a comment about the fact that he says, you've been media trained, you've been PR trained. He's like, this is amazing. Yeah, of course he was coached for that interview because he had a whole team behind him. This was not a kid with a camera just goofing off. He had a whole team of people behind him, even back then. That's my argument. I don't know that to be true, but I would say, just from the Logan Paul comment, Jack never denied it. Never said, "Oh no, I wasn't coached. This is just me." Never denied it. I think he had a whole team behind him. I think this is a much bigger thing than just one person, and I think they're just exploiting his bad behavior for a bunch of views. So it goes on as he does videos. At first, he was almost endearing. He was a cute kid. He was doing just very basic, kind of fun stuff with flipping the markers or whatever, doing little trick shots. It was all fun. It was all good. And I actually, the first few videos, I can see where people got sucked in. Kind of interesting. Cute kid. Again, just one of those things where he had a really nice filming location, excellent quality cameras, and he certainly had a winning formula, and again, I think there was a team behind him as well. So he starts making videos where he's causing a lot of chaos. I'm going to try to move this along. I don't want to make it a super long video tonight. He starts doing things like going into stores. He goes into Walmart. He's got a ton of videos in Walmart, terrorizing the employees at Walmart. Now, were they in on it and it was all just an act? I have no idea. There are people that are on both sides of the fence. Some people think that they were in on it. Some people think they weren't. At one point, he steals his brother's car. And again, there's some things in that video where it kind of seems like it was planned and his brother was involved, and that it was a skit, basically. So he starts creating a lot of chaos. It starts innocent with the marker flipping, then it goes to actually going out in public, causing a lot of problems. He's super annoying to everybody that he runs into, whether they're in on it or not. There are people around, I'm sure, that are not in on the joke, and it doesn't look good at all. So then, as time goes on, and he wants you to have this impression of him that he's this YouTube genius that just got rich off of YouTube and everything. He's involved with OnlyFans somehow. He's kind of like a weird OnlyFans pimp. He started his own page, and I guess he was doing like a lot of shirtless content, stuff like that. He wasn't actually like whipping his junk out at this point, I guess. But he did start an OnlyFans. Now he works with a bunch of girls that I guess he has them sign contracts, and he's in a big mess now legally because I guess he's had girls sign contracts that were 18 years old, barely 18 years old, and they're coming out now saying that he got them drunk at his house before signing the contract, and that was part of the coercion to sign the contract was getting these underage, not of legal drinking age girls drunk to sign OnlyFans contracts that I guess give him about 90% of the money and them 10% of the money. And basically what it is, I don't understand the whole thing, but I guess he's got these big mansions, and these girls can, for the 90% that they give him, they can film their content in the mansions, do promotions from the mansions, and make it look like they have this, this crazy world. So again, it's layers upon layers of a fake, a phony facade. Nothing is real. These poor girls are losing their integrity. They're losing any amount of self-worth they have, and giving up most of the money just to, I guess, have a sexy film location or whatever. I don't know. It's really disgusting what he's into as far as that. And it seems like some of his money from that stuff is starting to dry up as people are starting to realize that this guy is really just a creep and a loser. And so he does this. I'll touch on this real quick. Another thing he does to stir up controversy and make content. He lives at this point. I'll go back a little bit. I didn't mean to skip around, but when he's still living with his parents, right before he moves, kind of, he lives in a very high-end residential neighborhood. He's got dirt bikes. He rides his dirt bikes on the street, up and down the street. He rides them in the yard. His neighbors complain about it. This one lady, we'll call her Dirt Bike Karen. She actually followed him to his house, stayed at his house until his dad got home one day, and then made this big deal. His dad seems like he can barely keep from smiling and laughing because he's obviously in on it, and he doesn't care what his son does because it brings a lot of money for them. And I think that goes back to this whole thing of, I really think that he's been exploited, and I think that's part of the reason that he's starting to act out now, and he's starting to become a complete menace. So a couple of months ago, he's got a McLaren. I'm not sure what model it is, whether it's a 675 or what it is, but he's driving it one day in the rain. He's on his phone. He streams on Kick. That's the other thing. He doesn't just do YouTube videos. Now he does a lot of streaming. He used to do a lot of streaming on Kick. So he's on Kick. I don't think he's streaming, but he's going through his... No, he was streaming. I'm sorry. He was streaming. And he was looking at his Kick chat while he's driving his McLaren. It's raining. You can see the speedometer, the way the camera is angled. You can see the speedometer. And speedometer says 71. So even if he's driving on a 65, he's still speeding. He's in the rain. He's driving a McLaren. So stupid. And he's on his phone. And he's looking at his Kick chat on his phone while he's driving. It's all on camera. And you have the speed in the background, the speedometer. You can clearly see it. Crashes the McLaren. Spins out, crashes it against the side of the thing. Totals the car. Absolute mess. His camera guy was in the car with him. And you can see... Because Jack films everything. That's the other thing you got to understand. He films everything. Everything is content for this guy. There's nothing sacred in his life for him, his parents, his friends, anybody that he gets involved with. Nothing is sacred. Everything is content. So his camera guy has blood just streaming down his face. He's obviously hurt. And Jack hands him a camera and says, "Here, take this camera and go film from this angle." Films the whole accident. He's got a phone. He's I think still live streaming on Kick maybe at that time, but I don't know. He might have shut the live stream off, and it might have just been his camera. I think he live streamed the whole thing though. Anyways, just absolutely crazy. This is only a couple of months ago, so this is all fresh stuff. This is all just happening now. He ends up getting arrested. The cops go to his house to give him a citation for being on the phone while he was driving. He ends up getting arrested at another time, and it's something to do with the accident, something to do with the whole situation. He ends up getting arrested for a short time. Kick finds out that he was streaming while he had the accident and that he was looking at his chat during the accident. Kick bans him from the streaming platform. It's one of his largest sources of income at this point. So here's the thing that I want to get into. I won't make this super long tonight. So we're going to get ready to close up here soon. But, one of the things that people are starting to say, like, oh, he's going to run out of money. And he's saying, I'll never run out of money. I make more than you guys could ever, more than you could ever dream of. He's got some weird flexes, too. One of his flexes was he showed his American Express Platinum card bill online and said, "You guys could never hope to spend this much money in 2 weeks. Look what I can do." And it really backfired for him because it was a credit card statement, and his minimum payment due is $94,000. His total balance on his card is $239,000 or something crazy like that. So, no, Jack, I cannot spend like you, and I never want to spend like you. But the fact that you have a credit card, you have a balance on one of your credit cards, and the fact that you have a minimum payment due at all makes me feel bad for you. And I do honestly, I gotta say this, guys, there's a lot of, I passed up a lot of jokes in this video that I could have made about this guy. I don't want to get too down on him. I think he's been used. I think his pattern of horrible behavior, I think, was shown to him by his parents, by other people, by his team around him, whatever entertainment company is co-signing his stuff. They've created a monster, and he's really in a tough spot. And I gotta say, with the credit card bill, the dummy meant it as a flex. It's so not a flex. If you have a balance on your credit card of $240,000, it's not a flex. If you have a minimum payment due on a credit card, it is not a flex. I use credit cards for everything I do, and I've never had a minimum payment due. I always pay it before that comes up. And if you have to use credit cards, you have to, keep a balance or whatever, that's fine. I understand. You got to do what you got to do. Life is life, and it's really tough right now. But to use that as a flex, when honestly, all it does is show that you're really not in great financial shape. And I really think, and this is where we're kind of getting to the heart of the video. Again, I couldn't care less about Jack Doherty as far as entertainment value or anything like that. I don't watch his stuff. But I bring this up as a cautionary tale because it just goes to show, and supposedly this guy does make like $1 million a month. All right, or at least he used to. People are saying that back when he first started with the OnlyFans thing, and when he was on Kick and everything, that he was making close to $1 million a month. I think this guy lives paycheck to paycheck. I don't think he's got any more money. He's got a lot of money coming in and going out, but I think as far as actual positive cash flow, I think this guy's got less than the average person. And I don't think his situation is enviable at all. And I think we need to learn from this and realize that it doesn't matter how young you are, doesn't matter how rich you are, doesn't matter how popular you are, it doesn't matter how much fame you have. You can get into real trouble, and it doesn't take long. I mean, this guy's decline has been so fast. And I know it's been a long time coming, but the last couple of months have not been kind to this guy, and I don't envy him at all. I would not want to be in his position. I would not want to be in his situation at all. You can take the mansions, you can take the cars, you can take all of it. No, thank you. In fact, a couple more things kind of go to the fact that this guy is probably broke right now. And he's probably worse than living paycheck to paycheck. He probably is living in a deficit, especially having a credit card balance like that. He's pulled a couple of what they call rug pulls, where you promote like a Bitcoin type of thing. They have these things online called meme coins, which basically, it sounds like a total scam. People just make them up, and then they'll buy into them. They'll go on like a live stream, and they'll basically pump this coin up to other people, buy in, and then they end up doing a pump and dump. They sell their coin. They usually end the chat right before, or they end the live stream right before they're about to pull the wool over everybody's eyes. And then what happens is basically, and people think they can make money with these things. It's so stupid. Guys, stay away from these meme coins. Stay away from any kind of a pump and dump type of scheme where somebody says you can buy in. I'm gonna wait till it goes, up to a certain number, and I'm not gonna sell before it gets there. You guys can make tons of money with me. Don't get involved with this stuff. It's horrible. You're gonna lose. Most people lose. 98% of the people that get involved in these pump and dump schemes, they lose. There's only a very, very few percentage, a very small percentage at the top that make any money with it. He did 2 of these scams recently, meme coin scams, where he pumped it up. One, it was so even obvious that he had created the coin. It was called Crashed McLaren Coin. 2 months ago after he crashed his McLaren. And he's trying to play it off like he just saw it. And he goes, oh, cool, it's a McLaren coin. Let me pump this. Yeah, right. It's not how it works. And it's not what happened. He obviously created the coin. So, so that also goes to the fact that this guy's willing to scam his audience. And he really didn't even make that much. There are people that have gone on that are kind of experts in how these things work. And they said he really didn't make very much at all off of this scam. So he scammed his people, scammed his followers, and really didn't make that much off of it. So I think the guy's desperate. I think he really is broke. There's a video of him standing on a set of stairs, or sitting on a set of stairs, and his girl is like down, in the room, and he's really out of his mind, like just going crazy. Kind of ramps up as the video goes on, and he starts saying that I've got to come up with hundreds of thousands of dollars every week. I don't want to. I got to go upstairs and live stream right now. I don't want to, but I have to. I've got so many bills that I have to pay. I think he's broke. I really think his lifestyle, the way he's living, buying the McLaren, crashing the McLaren, all this stuff, I think he's broke. Getting banned from Kick, that was a huge part of his income. Now, is he connected to certain people? Yes. So will he probably, just like Jake Paul and Logan Paul and some of the other people that have pulled, huge scams on people, and they still somehow seem to make it out? Yeah, well, if you're connected to the club, if you're part of the club, they'll make sure you always, you can always at least put up a good front. They'll give you enough credit to hang yourself with. And so that's it, man. That's the story of Jack Doherty. And that's where we're at right now with this guy. To give you another idea of how he wastes money, he's got multiple places that he calls home. He's got tons of cars. He paid $200,000 for the rapper Lil Baby to come to his backyard for a 10-minute set. And then he dipped after that. He did 10 minutes. Lil Baby came in, did 10 minutes, a couple of songs, and then dipped right afterwards. $200,000. That was for his 21st birthday, just a little while ago. The same week, he has the rapper Polo G come in. Polo G came in, and Jack was fanboying over him like crazy from the second he got out of the car, and just was an absolute ass to this guy. And they say he might have paid up to $200,000 for him as well. It doesn't matter if he paid $100,000 or $50,000. I think he would have had to at least pay $50 to get Polo G to show up. Probably closer to $100. But whatever the case was, Polo stayed for like, I think 5 or 6 minutes, or did a 5 or 6 minute set. He wasn't there very long, and he dipped. He was like, I'm out of here. I'm not even doing this. So if you guys want to look him up, go look him up. A lot of great content creators on this channel have done kind of like little short deep dives into I know it's kind of like an oxymoron, a short deep dive, but they've done like these little videos that just kind of like do a summary of him from when he first got on YouTube to now. And there's a few of them out there. They range between 10 and 20 minutes, most of them. Go watch them. If you don't know who this is and you just want to kind of have a better idea, get a, put a face to the name and stuff like that, go check it out. I am working towards getting to the point where we can do pictures and video in the background, get a green screen set up and all that stuff. Working towards that point. I don't know exactly when it's going to come, but that's where we're going. So eventually I'll be able to bring you so we can actually check this stuff out as I'm talking about it. You can see what's going on and what I'm actually talking about. So that's in the works. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you guys have a great night, a great week. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. By the way, I meant to get on and at least do a quick message on TikTok for Thanksgiving. I didn't. I ended up having to work for most of the day, and then some things happened in the evening that got in the way of that. But you guys are here now, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, all the new subscribers we have. We have quite a few this week, so I can't thank you guys enough for that. And check us out on TikTok. We're at Almost Really Famous here on YouTube. We are at Team 696 on TikTok. Same address on Twitter or X. On X, basically, I just put all my favorite stuff the videos that if I'm doing my scrolling, just kind of looking through stuff, trying to get inspiration. What I'll do is when I come across a video that I really like from TikTok or YouTube Shorts or something like that, I'll throw it right up on my X page. It doesn't have to be a short. There's some long form content on there as well, but that's what that's for. If you want to support the channel, help us get to that green screen a little faster. I'm going to do it regardless. I don't need support to get it done. It's just going to take me a little longer. I'm going to do it anyways, but if you guys want to help out, I would welcome it. Absolutely. Hit me up on Cashapp, Team 696 on Cashapp. If you guys want to donate anything, just put a little notation as to what it's for, and I will make sure that every penny goes to what you guys want it to go to. And we could definitely have, there could be some accountability as far as where the money went, and we can go from there. I think that's it for now, guys. You have an awesome week. I'll see you later. Take care.